Hey, you want to know a crazy secret? There is no word in the English language that rhymes with orange. And you want to know another secret? There is a special concoction you can make that fills in gaps better than any putty out there on the market. You want to know what it is? Let's go. Well, I hope you're sitting down because you're gonna poop yourself when you find out about this. So if you're like me, to fill in your gaps, you've probably used either Tamiya's white putty or maybe Vallejo's plastic putty. Now they're both great products, don't get me wrong, but the Vallejo putty, you need several layers to really fill up gaps. And the Tamiya one, although it fills gaps very nicely, it has a nasty tendency to crack once it's fully dried. But that all ends for you today. As this magic concoction I introduced to you, we refer to in the modeling community as Sprue Goo. All it basically is an extra thin cement mixed with some leftover plastic sprues. Now for this case, we're going to use Tamiya extra thin. And I've got a box of some useless sprues that I just happened to keep for this occasion. And all you simply do is add a good amount of this into your extra thin cement and you've got a gap filler. I'll show you how it looks. Just unscrewing that cap gives you a buzz. Anyway, now unfortunately I'm not sure of the exact ratio that you need for this. I'm not too sure how much plastic to how much cement you need, so I just eyeball it, but it's got to look pretty thick, as if it's too thin then it's just not going to fill in gaps. So I'll take some and just drop it in. Now what Tamiya thin cement does is melt plastic that it bonds to, so that once you squeeze two halves of something together, like a fuselage or a tank hull, it kind of welds them together, so it creates a stronger bond. So basically what happens when you put these in just pure thin cement is they slowly melt into a very soft plastic. Now, if you can see, the cement is slowly starting to turn gray. Now, this does take a while to fully melt, but we haven't got time for that. So, with the snap of my finger, we're going to speed through this. Hey, look at that. It's already melted. And it just happened to have a label put on it too. Nice. Okay, so now that that's ready, let me show you it in action. So here we've got a fuel tank with a nasty little gap in there. So just take some of your freshly made Sprue Goo, as you can see, mine is pretty thick. So we're just going to take some here. And brush it on. Now you want to put a fairly liberal amount on, just so that it really sinks into that gap. But I do recommend trying to feather it out at the edges, just so that you have less work to do later. All right, so now you want to give that at least a day to fully dry. If you start working on this too soon, the cement and plastic mixture is still going to be too soft, and you won't be able to scrape or sand it properly. So again, we're going to jump into a time warp, and I will show you the next step. And if only I could go backwards. So, as you can see, it is fully dry. So the next step is to take a hobby knife. I like to use one with a concave blade. And you just gently scrape away. And for the most part, the gap is gone. It maybe could use one more layer just to be perfect, but I'm only demonstrating this for you fine people. And of course, you would go in with some sandpaper just to smooth that out some more. But I think I've pretty much explained the gist of it. Is your mind blown? Let us know in the comments. In conclusion, for years I struggled with filling gaps on my models. I felt like after all the work I would put in, if I had just touched my model the wrong way, the putty would have cracked, and even through the paint layer you would easily see it. But that all changed once I learned this trick of the trade, and all that you need to do it is some Tamiya extra thin cement, which you can buy at Sunward Hobbies in store or online, and some leftover plastic sprue. So I hope this life hack helped you as much as it helped me. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, this was our little secret. And if you tell anybody about it, I will find you and I will cut a gap into you that nothing will fill. But until then, adios.